The theater was glowing under warm golden lights. Cameras hovered, audiences whispered, and the air carried that familiar tension only award nights could bring. Bryan Cranston stood behind the curtain, listening to his name echo through the hall as the announcer revealed the Emmy winner. Applause erupted like thunder. Bryan walked onto the stage, slowly absorbing the moment. Another Emmy, another milestone. His smile was calm, but behind it lived decades of struggle, rejection, and persistence. As he accepted the award, he thanked the usual names, family, cast, crew, but then paused. The room grew quiet. "I've stood on many stages," he said softly, "but tonight feels different." The audience laughed lightly, unsure where this was going. Bryan leaned closer to the microphone. "This award reminds me of how fragile success is, how easily we forget the human being behind the performance." He hesitated, then surprised everyone. "Years ago," he continued, "I took my first mushroom trip. Not for escape, but for understanding." A ripple of gasps and laughter spread through the crowd. "It wasn't about hallucinations," he said. "It was about humility, about realizing how small we are and how connected." For a moment, Bryan looked overwhelmed, not by the crowd, but by memory. His hands trembled slightly. The applause returned, louder this time, but something inside him shifted. He stepped back from the mic, nodded once, and without another word, walked off the stage, leaving the audience stunned, confused and deeply curious. Backstage, the noise faded into muffled echoes. Assistants rushed toward Bryan, concern written on their faces. "Are you okay?" someone asked. Bryan sat down heavily, pressing his palms against his knees. His breathing was steady, but his eyes looked distant, like he had traveled somewhere only he could see. "I didn't plan that," he admitted quietly. An old memory had surfaced the moment he mentioned the mushrooms. Not the visuals, not the strangeness, but the realization. The moment he understood that chasing validation could never replace inner peace. That first trip had happened during a low point in his career. No awards, no headlines, just doubt. And in that experience, he had confronted himself, not the actor, not the celebrity, but the man underneath. Standing on stage tonight, holding another Emmy, that same question returned. "Who are you when the lights go out?" A producer approached him. The audience didn't know what to think, but they felt it. Bryan smiled faintly. "That's enough." He stood up, straightened his jacket, and looked at his reflection in a dark monitor screen. Wrinkles, tired eyes, but also peace. For the first time in years, the award in his hands felt lighter than the truth in his chest. Walking off stage wasn't weakness. It was honesty. And honesty, he knew, was the bravest performance of all. Later that night, social media exploded. Headlines questioned his exit. Clips went viral. Some called it strange. Others called it iconic. Bryan didn't read any of it. He stepped outside into the cool night air, away from flashing lights and roaring crowds. The city hummed softly around him. He breathed deeply, grounding himself in the present moment. A young actor approached hesitantly. "Mr. Cranston, your speech, thank you. It meant more than you know." Bryan nodded. "If it made you feel less alone, then it mattered." He handed the Emmy to his assistant, not out of disrespect, but perspective. Award celebrated what he did. Walking away honored who he was becoming. As his car pulled away, Bryan looked back once at the glowing venue. He felt no regret. Only gratitude. That night wasn't about winning an Emmy. It was about remembering why he started acting in the first place. Not for trophies, but for truth. And sometimes the most powerful statement isn't what you say on stage, but knowing when to leave it.